talk to you guys about what it's like to be an army wife, particularly a young army wife. So if you stumbled upon this video, it's probably because you're thinking about or you just became a new army wife, and it's kind of overwhelming, even a little scary at first, because there's so much information, there's so much you just found out, there's so much you don't know. Looking for more information, you're looking for, people that can relate to you, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to relate to you. Trust me, I understand it's hard. Trust me, I understand all of this information is new. It was all new to me. I got married when I was 18. Yes, I was very young. My husband was 20 and I was 18. And we're from Brooklyn, New York. So people where we're from don't get married that young. So it was it was a big shocker to everyone. But you have to understand that you have to do this for you. It's not for anyone else, regardless of what your family think, what your friends think. They're not gonna understand. If they don't have anyone in the military, or they don't have any affiliation, they're not gonna get it. So this is something that you're gonna have to do for you, and that is just my little disclaimer. I did go ahead and write down some pros and some cons of being an army wife. So if you guys see me looking down, it's just because I'm trying not to forget anything. I'm trying to make sure I give you guys as much information as possible. So I'll go ahead. I'll start with the pros. So there are pros of being, a new army wife. Oh, another disclaimer. I can only speak for the army branch. I don't know about the other branches. So if you're looking for, Navy, Marines, this may not be the video for you, just because I personally don't have any experience with those branches. I don't know anyone who had experience with those branches. All of my experiences are army. My husband is in the army. So okay, the first pro is going to be obviously the money. So if you're, I'm not just going to keep saying guys, because there may be some guys that are watching this. So if you're a spouse, male or female, or about to become a spouse, whoever is the active duty soldier or reserve soldier, more so active duty, they're going to be getting paid. Depending on their rank and how fast your spouse ranks up is solely up to them. You are guaranteed promotions from E1 to E4. Those are the ranks. So usually you come in as an E1, E4 specialist. That's just, those are the ranks you're guaranteed to get. Now, after you hit E4, you then have to work for your next promotion. Not saying you don't have to work for those, but you have to go before a board before you get E5, which is sergeant. There's certain things you need to know, whereas the other ones are kind of just, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing at work, you're gonna get those promotions. So they're going to be getting paid. Now, once you guys get married, if you aren't already, your spouse is going to receive what they call BAH, which is a basic housing allowance. So what that means is they're pretty much getting, if you guys decide not to live on base and you guys decide to live off base in your own, you find your own apartment, your spouse is going to get BAH depending on how many dependents they have. So you count as a dependent. If you guys have children, that will be another dependent. Me and my husband, we don't have children yet, so it is just me, so he just has one dependent. So they'll pay you based on your rank and your number of dependents. All of that stuff factors into your paycheck. They get paid twice a month, the 1st and the 15th, and they split it in half, and they do it on the 2 dates. The money's pretty good. Obviously, the higher the rank, the more money. It's just that simple. There's no way around that. Another benefit is the medical benefits. So the active duty soldier, the spouse, the dependents, they all get, full coverage, insurance, all that stuff is taken care of. You don't have to worry about paying for any of that. Doctor's appointments, if you have children, The only thing they don't cover, I believe, is dental, and they do only like 1 or 2 vision tests a year. I may be wrong about that, but I'm gonna go ahead and edit that somewhere in the video when I look that proper information up. But I know that they don't cover dental. That's the only thing that TRICARE, which is military insurance, that they don't cover. There's also the GI Bill. So the GI Bill is pretty much tuition assistance. So for the active duty soldier, if they decide when they want to get out, they want to go back to school, because of their time in their service, they do get tuition assistance to go to school, so they don't have to pay for that. Military would even pay for dependents, i.e., spouse, children, they won't, depending on if your spouse doesn't use their GI Bill, they can give it to you, the spouse, or they can give it to your children to use. If not, the military does have scholarships for military wives and children and stuff like that, and grants and stuff like that for you to go to school as well. So you don't just have to think, oh, if my husband decides or my wife decides to use their GI Bill, I can't go to school. It's not like that. They do try to work for you. As you guys can see, my background. I am in school currently. I'm in school right now. I'm not in class right now. I have a gap between classes. But yeah, so I do go to school. I'm in college, and the military does help me out with that. They don't cover everything, but they do help me out with that. Also, there's the VA loan. The VA loan is pretty much a loan people use to, if you want to start a small business. The interest rates are pretty low. Also, a lot of people use the VA loan to purchase a house. Me and my husband, we haven't personally purchased a house yet because we are stationed here. Ooh, I almost flashed you guys. We are stationed here in Hawaii, and we're, like I said, we're from New York, so we're far from home. It would not make any sense for us to buy a house out here. Now, do we eventually want to buy a house? Absolutely. Are we going to use our VA loan? Absolutely. We're going to take advantage of all the benefits that the Army has to offer. Another benefit, you get to travel the world with your spouse. Like I just said, my husband and I, we live in Hawaii. We are from, I'm not going to hold it, we are from the hood back at home, y'all. So coming to Hawaii, this is a place we never thought we'd be. This is a place that people save their whole lives to come visit. And, the Army just paid to pack us up and ship us here. And, we're truly blessed. I can't wait to see what else they have in store for us, even though I was really, really praying for Germany or Italy. I'll take, beggars can't be choosers. I'll take what I can get. Another benefit is going to be base housing. So if you guys don't decide to live on base or on post, as we call it, that basic housing allowance I was telling you guys about before, they actually take that from you if you decide to live on base, because that basic housing allowance is supposed to be money to pay like your rent, your utility bills. So it's like an extra bonus on top of your paycheck that's not included in the active duty members base pay. They still get a base pay plus the BAH. So if you live on post, your spouse just gets the BAH. They just get the base pay. I'm sorry, not the BAH. They just get the base pay. BAH is supposed to pay that type of stuff so you don't have to chip into your actual paycheck to do so. But if you do live on post, they take that away, and that's how they compensate for you living on base. So when you live on base, you don't pay rent. Well, you pay it, but you don't pay. If you get what I'm saying. It comes out, but you're not, physically paying rent. You're not physically paying utility bills or anything like that. But it does come out. They just don't give it to you. Now it's time to talk about the cons. Cons of being an Army wife. Number one would be the time you spend apart. I am not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be peachy. I'm not going to tell you that your spouse is never going to have to leave you, because they are. That's just the reality of it. My husband and I got married in December of 2013, and he got deployed to Afghanistan in February of 2014. So we were married for 2 months before they shipped him off, and he was gone for 9 months. 9 very, very long months. Now, is it totally isolated? Absolutely not. I did get to speak to my husband. I did get to speak to him quite frequently, because he did take his laptop over there. So your spouses are allowed to take their phones, their laptops. I do suggest Apple products because, they run on Wi-Fi. So that's how I have an iPhone. My husband has a MacBook. So he took his MacBook. He was able to FaceTime me. He was able to, text me off of his computer when the Wi-Fi wasn't crappy. But, it's little things like that that make a difference. Because without those Apple products, I probably would have never got to speak to him. I mean, well, they do have a phone where they, they can call. But, there's a lot of people waiting for those. This way we were able to communicate, just us. He didn't have to go anywhere like the USO, which is pretty much like, think of it like a rec center. He didn't have to go all the way to the rec center, wait in line for the phone, have a time limit. We at this way we could just speak whenever we want, and it was just convenient. Moving. If you are an Army wife, if your spouse is in the Army, you are going to move. Now, the average PCS is every 3 years. So let's just use that number. So think of it as every 3 years you will be in a new state or a new city or even a new country. You will be moving. You're going to be away from your family. It's very hard, it's very stressful, it's emotional, especially when you're young. I was in college when my husband and I got married. So I was already kind of out of my parents' house, but if you didn't go away to college, you didn't get a chance to do that. It's different, going from mom and dad's house to living by yourself, and then your husband getting deployed and now you're really by yourself. It can be a lot. It can be overwhelming, but just take a deep breath. I promise you it gets better. There are going to be some great days. There are also going to be some really shitty days. But you just got to take it with a grain of salt and just take a deep breath. Stress. It is going to be stressful. It's going to be stressful on you. It's going to be stressful on your spouse. It's going to be stressful on you guys' relationship. I don't care if you guys were Martin and Gina or Bonnie and Clyde before the military. Once the military gets added into you guys' little equation, it is going to cause you stress. Best thing I can tell you is to take a deep breath and to stay calm. As a spouse, I don't care what anyone says. Us spouses, we are the mental and spiritual and emotional heads of the household. Yes, your spouse will bring in the bacon, they will make all the money, yada yada yada. That's great, but they are not the head of the household. Us spouses, we are what keep them going. So if you're a mess, your spouse is gonna be a mess. If your spouse is gonna be a mess, your whole unit is a mess. And trust me, you don't want that. You don't want any extra chaos. Trust me, the army, the military will bring enough chaos into your life. So you need to keep it together. You need to stay calm. You feel yourself losing it, take a deep breath, call your mom, call your best friend, vent to whoever you need to vent to, and then you pull it together. Because if you're not together, I guarantee you your spouse is not going to be together. There are going to be days where your spouse needs you to be together. They don't know it, but they need you to be together. You need to be level. When things aren't going well at work, your spouse is going to come home. They're going to complain to you. They're going to vent to you. And you can't let what they have going on at work affect you. What it happens at work stays at work. You're just there to listen. Okay, babe. All right, we don't know what's going on right now. We're going to take it one day at a time. That is your job, to keep your spouse level-headed. You are the head of the household. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Lastly, there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. I can't speak for, like I said, can't speak for any other branches, but the Army's motto is hurry up and wait. So you are going to get things last minute. You're going to get orders last minute. Orders are pretty much just a hard paper copy of saying where you and your spouse are going to be going when you move, when you PCS, when you permanent change of station. So when me and my husband went from North Carolina to here, Hawaii, you had to get paper orders. An unknown number keeps fucking calling me, and I don't know who it is, but they're getting on my nerves. They're interrupting my recording. But yes, you need those orders to do any and everything. And sometimes the Army will give you those orders literally a week, 2 weeks, a couple days before you need to move. And it is stressful. But like I said, you need to take a chill pill, you need to take a deep breath. Just relax. Whatever happens, happens. Last but not least, family drama. I don't know about you guys, but my husband and our families, they're a little kooky. So we love them, absolutely. But there are just some things that they will never understand about our newfound military lifestyle. So we like to keep our business separate from like our family business. So they don't need to know everything that goes on with your spouse at work or everything that needs to go on with you and your relationship, because we are young. People are going to say, well, maybe you rushed into it. They're going to doubt us. The odds are against us, but you need to make sure that you and your spouse come out on top regardless. So don't, when you move, I know it's going to be tempting to tell them everything, but don't do that. Your marriage is between you and your spouse. That's it. You're married to your spouse and you are married to the military now. Those are your babies. Those are, and if you have babies. But those are who you need to be focused about. When you guys move away, it's just you. It's just me and my husband here in Hawaii. I'm 20 now. My husband is 23. We don't have anybody here, so it's just us. We can't afford to, be bickering back and forth and calling mommy and daddy. We just don't do that. Our business is our business. But those are my pros and cons of what it's like to be a young married Army spouse. So if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment box below. Like, comment, subscribe, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm open to giving you guys any advice. Hopefully I can answer any of your questions.
Songs. Jones. Song, baby. And my boy E Hood.